Welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Eiderstein. Thank you for coming back and joining me for February 9th reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. It's been a great month so far. Looking forward to what the rest of February has to bring. And really appreciate everyone that's been tuning in and listening to the podcast. And again, I just want to let you know there's my page for this podcast on Facebook. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and they will be the newest podcast will always be shared there. So let me know what you think, and thanks for joining me. I'll go ahead and I'll get ready to read February 9th, and this is of course fresh to me, fresh to you. So I will be reading this for the first time as I read it with you guys on here, so you get my genuine responses, reactions, observations, and what I relate to in the reading. So I'm looking forward to it, and here we go. February 9th. Perfect love is perfect power. The wisely loving heart commands without exercising any authority. All things and all men obey him who obeys the highest. He thinks, and lo, he has already accomplished. He speaks, and behold, a world hangs upon his simple utterances. He has harmonized his thoughts with the imperishable and unconquerable forces, and for him weakness and uncertainty are no more. And every thought is purpose, his every act an accomplishment. He moves with the great law, not setting his puny personal will against it, and thus becomes a channel through which the divine power can flow in unimpeded and beneficent expression. He has thus become power itself. Perfect love is perfect wisdom. Wow. Heck of a reading right there. Opens with perfect love is perfect power, and then closes with perfect love is perfect wisdom. And of course, perfect love, right? That's to love perfectly is to love without condition, love without personal desire, love without requirement, love just as something or someone is. Perfect love is to really function completely without self-will invested in your actions. You know, and I'm just kind of thinking that first line through. The perfect love is perfect power. And perfect power really has to come from within you. When you've taken all of your, dependencies on things external to you, when you don't need others' approval, when you don't need others' validation, when you don't need others' love, when you don't need material things to validate you, when you don't need prestige or power or money to bring you value, when you have removed all dependency on those things external to you, you've taken the power away from everything outside of you. And when you do that, you really remove the selfish functioning, and you get the opportunity of complete freedom to act and form habits and thoughts out of perfect love. That means complete detachment from outcome. And understanding that all power resides inside of you. What a beautiful space that would be. And it's one thing to understand that conceptually. It's one thing to understand that in theory. And it's one thing and it's even another thing to know it to be true, because I feel like I have a knowing that is true. Unfortunately, I do not have the experience of executing that perfectly. I've done a lot of work. I have taken a very hard look at myself in a lot of different ways from many different perspectives. But I can't say I've removed all of my external dependencies. When they come up, when they become evident, I make an effort to take the actions. But I can't say that that's a perfectly executed law for me yet. And it's going to be about experience. It's going to be about living and walking through life and finding these things. Because sometimes the hidden snares and traps of life we stumble into and we have to resolve when we get there. That's part of living, And I like how at the end, it opens with perfect love is perfect power. It closes with perfect love is perfect wisdom. With wisdom comes power. With wisdom and understanding of where power actually resides and where you give your power away, right? They come hand in hand. What a beautiful thing that is. All right, let's get into the rest of it. The wisely loving heart commands without exercising any authority. All things and all men obey him who obeys the highest. It's an interesting perspective. It reminds me of the people that you've just come in contact with your life that have that energy about them, that have that selflessness to them, that you can almost just feel in your soul, that is so genuine and it's so authentic. And their kindness and their loving nature, their loving energy, their positive energy gives you almost a desire to almost help them in whatever they need help with, to assist them in their journey. I've run into people with this type of air about them, and that's what this is bringing to mind. It's an extremely powerful reading today. He goes on to say, he thinks, and lo, he has already accomplished it. He speaks, and behold, a world hangs upon his simple utterances. He has harmonized his thoughts with the imperishable and unconquerable forces, and for him weakness and uncertainty are no more. I guess if you take the perspective that what is right will happen, if I make the right decisions, you can have a good estimate, a good understanding, a knowing of what the next actions will be, or how it will unfold potentially. This is quite a meditation to be considering, to be honest with you. When you act out of love and you pursue these spiritual principles and spiritual virtues, you bring those things into your life. And I believe that's what he's referring to here. He has harmonized his thoughts with the imperishable and unconquerable forces, and for him, weakness and uncertainty are no more. He knows they're coming. He knows these things that he's decided upon, these actions he's taking, that will bring about the result that he needs. and he has the faith that it's going to happen. His every thought is a purpose, his every act an accomplishment. He moves with the great law, not setting his puny personal will against it. Always using your actions to serve a greater good, a power greater than yourself, with no thought of self-centeredness or self-reward. And thus becomes a channel through which the divine power can flow in unimpeded in a beneficent expression. He has thus become power in itself. I've said this many times. I believe when you act spiritually, when you follow spiritual principles in your life, regardless of situation or circumstance, but you faithfully follow those principles and values, you make space for good to come in. You make space for God to come in, if that's what you'd like to say. Nature for divine good, source, all of those terminologies that come in. I've said it in certain instances that living a spiritual way of life lets God make space for God to work in your life or work through your life. We don't even necessarily see it or know it. Whatever God means for you. So, I believe this. I believe this concept. I believe this meditation. Though I do wish I executed on it more perfectly, more often. But it's the awareness, it's the willingness to grow, it's that spiritual progress that we get wrapped up in, we get involved with. So, extremely powerful reading today. Thank you all for joining me as I sorted through my own thoughts on this one. I really appreciate the opportunity to do so with people on this. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. I'd love to hear it and have a conversation. So go ahead and check it out. I'll share it on the Facebook page. Try it, and we can talk in the comments if you'd like. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll be ready for February 10th tomorrow. Until next time. Thanks.